Blog Talk Radio.
What's going on, folks? It's your boy Long Beach Joe, and I am back at it again. I'm back at it again, man. Listen, we got quite a bit to discuss today. A lot of rumors swirling around in the New York Jets. Dalvin Cook, this rumor swirling. Supposedly, the Jets are looking to make a deal with him and get him into the building. All right? Everybody talking about him becoming a New York Jet. This is shocking. So we're going to be discussing that rumor today as well, and if anyone actually believes it. We're also going to be talking about Jets OTAs, okay? A lot of things going on as well. Had a good day today, okay? Aaron Rodgers, a lot of talk about him, and Zach Wilson as well. Fella also had a lot to say about different things as well. Quentin Williams, left tackle position. So we're going to be discussing all of that. Let me go ahead and get into the show. Listen, I'm the man of the people. I'm here for the people. Let me shamelessly promote my Facebook page. Everyone go on Facebook, search The Long Beach Joe Show. Like that page. My content's up there. Go ahead and give it a listen. Message me. I'll message you right back. I love going back and forth with you folks about this football team. Also, leave me some feedback. I love hearing about what you folks think I do here on The Long Beach Joe Show. Your boy is also on iTunes, okay? Go on over to iTunes, okay? Type in The Long Beach Joe Show, okay? Subscribe to the podcast on iTunes. Subscribe to it, all right? And leave me some feedback. I love hearing about what you folks think I do here, all right? Also, leave your boy a 5-star rating as well, okay? I want to thank everyone that does that. I really appreciate, the feedback and the ratings and everything. It really makes my day. Especially when I'm hearing, back and forth from people that are from overseas or far away from me, right? I'm always shocked that people listen to me from overseas. So salutes to everybody in the UK, Afghanistan. I have people listening to me from Australia, Ireland, all right? Anyone from over there, Germany, okay? Salutes to everybody, all right? I want to thank y'all as well. And again, everybody salutes to everybody that listens to me worldwide, okay? But it's always shocking to hear that. So I'm also on YouTube as well, for those of you that do not know, okay? A lot of people hit me up, and they be like, Joe, we didn't know you did the show live. Got great takes. Really like what you bring to the table when you cover the Jets, but, man, you're a handsome guy. I like what you're doing over there. I just say thank you. I'm not a cocky guy. I'm not arrogant. I work with what I got, right? And, we're over here on YouTube. So if you're listening on the podcast or on Blog Talk Radio, again, Blog Talk Radio / Long Beach Joe, okay? If you're listening over there, come on over to YouTube, type in, okay, Long Beach Joe Jets on YouTube, type that on in, and come on over and watch the show live. Subscribe, hit that notification bell, give the video a thumbs up, get involved with everything that we're doing over here, especially with my chat. I call my chat the savages. You want to know why? Because they're savage. Listen, those people, those savages in the chat, they don't care about anything. They care about me. Well, they care about me, but they don't care about nothing else. But keep in mind, I am not even above reproach, okay? They will give it to anybody. If they don't like your takes, if they don't like what you bring into the table, they'll let you have it, and I'm included in the they'll let you have it part, all right? And they disagree with my takes, they let me know, all right? So come on by, get involved, Long Beach Joe Jets. Come on by, get involved, subscribe, hit that notification bell, like, the videos and comment, all right? Get involved. I'm also on Twitter as well, at The Long Beach Joe on Twitter. Follow that profile and check me out, and talk to your boy because I'll talk back, all right? Now it is time to get into it. Listen, the Jets have a lot of things going on, all right? There's rumors swirling, a lot of things afoot, okay? And we're going to discuss it all. But before we get there, as everyone knows, I am a huge Jets fan, right? That's what this entire show is about. That's what this is all about, okay? I love the green and white. I go to MetLife when I can. But a lot of people don't know that I am not from the East Coast. I am not. I didn't grow up in New York. I didn't grow up in Queens. I didn't grow up in Jersey. None of that. I am a West Coast guy, all right, born and raised. Long Beach, California, not Long Beach. I know there's a city of Long Beach on the East Coast. No, I'm from the Long Beach on the West Coast, okay? I love it. The weather, the women, the great vibes. That's what's going on here. No disrespect to anyone else, but this is what I know, and this is what I love. And so when I talk to people about being a Jets fan, they're often shocked when I tell them that I'm not from the East Coast. But I also run into people all the time that are Jets fans as well that aren't on the East Coast either, right? Some of them are in different places. And I want to connect with them, okay? And so tonight, we're going to have Michael Larson of the San Diego Jets Fan Club come on the show and talk to us about what it's like being a Jets fan in San Diego. He's going to discuss with us what they're doing in San Diego, how they get together, and show love for the football team. Michael, I want to welcome you to the show. How are you feeling tonight, my friend?
I'm good, Joe. How's it been a year already?
I'm telling you, time is flying, isn't it? It just goes by so fast, right?
Yeah, no doubt. I think this is my 5th or 6th year with you on this show. I love being here. I just cannot believe it's been a year already.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's just things are just moving so fast. But I tell you what, man, I want you to share with my audience about what made you become a New York Jets fan, right? That's a question I get all the time, and I give them my answer. How did you come to love this football team as much as you do?
Well, like you, I'm not an East Coaster. I grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area. My grandfather had huge ties to the San Francisco Seals. He hung out with Joe DiMaggio quite a bit before DiMaggio went to the Yankees. They were friends in their 80s. Joe DiMaggio introduced my grandfather to Joe Namath. So we heard Yankees, Jets stories all growing up. My youngest brother stayed with Joe. He was Joe Montana guy, Niner guy. I went with the Jets on that side. And the rest is history.
Man, what a story. You got introduced to Joe Namath. Whoa, man. Whoa. I'm sure that was huge. Man, what are some of those stories? Break down some of those stories that you heard all the time just about that Yankee and Jets connection there.
Some of it might not be too appropriate for your show.
Oh,
but my grandfather was a big-time gambler in his day. He loved gambling. He was an umpire all the way up through AAA. So there was a lot of conversations about who should we bet on today, who do not bet on today, those types of things going on.
Oh, okay. Okay. I feel you, Michael. Listen, everybody does their own thing there, but yeah. So when you look at the situation, right, you talk about being a guy on the West Coast, you grew up in that Bay Area, now you're down there in San Diego. How did your fan club come about? How did you guys get together and decide to band together and show love for the team and have that unity?
So our two original founding guys were both East Coasters, both huge Jets fans and Mets fans. And they started the club back in 2000. And it actually was in the house of one of our original founders, Rocco. Everybody met at his house. As the group got bigger and bigger, obviously Rocco's house can't hold as many fans. So we started branching out to local restaurants and bars and et cetera. And because we're a Navy town, we get a lot of people from all over come to San Diego.
Yep.
And so you get a lot of surfers who come out here. They'll come in for a game or two, and then, they get shipped out again. It's just great to have fans from everywhere coming in. And then there's, I want to say, 40 to 50 of us who meet every week religiously. And the better the team is, the more that come. Unfortunately, we haven't been that great lately, so, the numbers dwindle. It's bound to happen.
So where can people kind of meet with you folks? Because things are now turning around, Michael, as you know. And we'll talk about that in a second. But when you guys hang out or how you guys get together and communicate, where can people get involved with what you're doing? Is there a certain bar that you folks meet at? Is there a Facebook page they can get in contact with you? Where's all your social media and all that stuff?
So we have the Facebook and we have IG, San Diego Jets Fans, plural. We meet at a bar called Taste and Thirst. It's in the Gas Lamp in downtown. They get that name Taste and Thirst because their food ranks in the top 3 every year in all the different categories for food. Their food is legit. We have a lot of games this year at night and late afternoons, and they do Sunday happy hours and evening happy hours. So we're going to be looking at having some good drink and food specials as well this season.
What's their, like, in your opinion, what is the best thing that they serve there? I'm a food guy, so you know what I'm saying? And when I slide through there, I want to make sure I get the best dish that I can get. What is, like, your personal favorite from there?
Well, I'll give you two. A lot of the guys like the East Coast style bagel with the egg. That's just a big one, the sandwich. I like the Taste TNT burger, and that has onion rings, 2 types of cheese, jalapenos, and mozzarella cheese sticks. It is ridiculous and amazingly tasty.
Yeah, that sounds like a good time right there. That's what I'm talking about, Michael. Point me in the right direction. That's all I'm saying. That sounds real good.
Well, we need to get you down for a game. You got to come down to San Diego and hang out with us at least once.
I am, man, my schedule's wild. I'll be trying. Listen, I'm going to try to slide down there. San Diego is beautiful as well. I've been there before. The beaches, the women, just the scenery, the whole city, everything. It's just so beautiful, and it's so alive down there. I love it. I love that culture down there as well. Surfing, all kinds of crazy things. Don't get me going here, Michael, because I'll start talking about the shenanigans that goes on down there. A lot of fun. Fun.
We won't go to that. We'll save that for when you and I meet face to face.
That's what I'm talking about. Don't get me started because I get going and I won't stop. Listen, so when we're talking about you being in San Diego, man, like we just discussed, there's a lot of beautiful things going on down there. There's also a, pretty crazy fan, or used to be a pretty crazy fan base. I'm pretty sure that the Chargers are still pretty big down there. But I remember coming down there when they were in San Diego, and it was rabid. I went to a game down there where the Jets played them, and boy, was it crazy. I mean, they let you know from the beginning to the end that at the time you were in Charger country. So now I'm pretty sure there's different fans down there. I'm surrounded by a lot of different fans as well, Niners fans, Raiders fans. They're crazy as well. There's Chargers fans around me as well. What is it like being a Jets fan now down there? When you're walking around with your green and white jersey on, do they give you any guff about it? Well,
the San Diego Chargers fan base has diminished quite a bit, actually. And the bars used to be so packed with Charger fans, because we'd always play at 10 a.m. out here, and the Chargers always played at 1. So, they'd rib us a little bit. We get that. We go back and forth, have some fun with it. But it's not like that anymore. A lot of Charger fans just said, I'm done with football when they left. So that being said, we don't get a lot of ribbing when we wear the green and white because the other bars down here, a lot of them are Niner bars. There are some Raider bars. We don't really have a history with the Raiders as big as we do with the Chargers because we played them in the playoffs off and on for the last 12 or 14 years, whatever it's been, and when we beat them. One of the big reasons the Chargers got to the point where more than half the stadium was the opposing team's fans. And it really diminished the Charger vibe and that whole home crowd association. So it much as the people here hated it, it did make sense for them to move when they did. Yeah. Yeah, I remember when that happened. There was a lot of talk, and maybe you can speak to a bit more about this, but I knew Chargers fans that were huge. I'm talking big Chargers fans that felt like they had been betrayed, felt like the team just kind of dipped and dumped out on them. And I remember speaking to a Chargers fan that was really close to me. He said, listen, I supported them when they were bad, when we knew that we might scrape to get the playoffs, but we're not going anywhere. And now, it looks like they just bolted on us. They took off, went to L.A., and it's like, hey, you just left us high and dry. We supported you when things weren't going so well, and now you're up and gone the second that you can go somewhere else that you feel like is a bigger market. You know what? I'm done. And like you said as well, I knew Chargers fans that were, again, I'm talking SD through and through, and they took those jerseys off and threw them in the trash. I mean, do the Chargers fans down there feel the exact same way, the Chargers fans that I spoke to as well? Yes, absolutely. We actually had bonfire parties where people were bringing their jerseys to burn. It was that crazy here. And those of us that have lived down here for a long time, we had always said if the Chargers really want a new stadium, they should have asked in 95 or 96 because they were good. The Stan Humphrey era, they went to the Super Bowl. That's when they should have asked, but they didn't. The Padres asked for a stadium when they lost to the Yankees in the 2000 World Series, and the following year they started building. The Chargers didn't talk about a stadium until 2 years before they left, and at that point they really had no leverage because more than 50% of the fans were away fans. The city can say this and that about trying to get zoning and da-da-da-da-da, but really what it really boils down to is they just didn't have enough of their own fans. That's just point blank how it is.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it sucked to see, but I tell you what, they've definitely been able to make some changes and make some moves as well to kind of upgrade their team. They got a young quarterback in Herbert. They built around him. That Chargers team is looking, they're looking all right. They're going to continue to build around here. But I tell you what, I know we've discussed quite a bit. Again, we're speaking with Michael Larson of the San Diego Jets fan club. We talked about your club, Michael, but I want to talk to you about this football team because there's so much that we have going on here with the New York Jets, so many changes that we've made. But one of the biggest changes, one of the biggest things that I think has happened to our franchise in recent years, one of the biggest things, is us being able to acquire a Hall of Fame quarterback in Aaron Rodgers. Man, Michael, we've been looking for a quarterback for I don't know how long. The names go on and on. Sam Darnold, Bryce Petty, Christian Hackler, all these guys, right? Even Zach Wilson to this point. And, again, I'm not ready to close the door on him, but we'll see what happens going forward with him. But, man, now we got Aaron Rodgers in the building, and it just seems like a big – that big boulder is just off of our shoulders with him being here. Give me your thoughts about Aaron Rodgers being in the Jets jersey. How does it feel, my friend?
So I'll do you one better. When we lost to Minnesota last year, I sat in a corner for over an hour because that told me our season is over. I knew that's it. It's over. We need help. And I remember walking around the bar the following week telling people there is only one veteran quarterback that I would die to have if, capital if, he's motivated to play. And everybody at my bar thought I was going with the expatriate. And I said, no, Aaron Rodgers. He's done in Green Bay. We can see it. Writing's on the wall. If he's motivated, I want that guy so bad on this team. And a lot of the Jets fans in the group said the same thing. If he's motivated, oh, God, please. And when I watched that Pat McAfee show and watched how his eyes were lighting up talking about playing again, I knew if we don't sign this guy, it's going to be a huge mistake. I'm not sorry, sign. If we don't trade for him, it's going to be a huge mistake.
Yeah.
So it is so nice to have him. And when you mentioned Zach Wilson, here's the problem with that whole scenario. Outside of how he plays, they have to make the decision on the fifth-year option after this upcoming season. Well, if he doesn't ever see the field, there's no way he gets that fifth-year option. And why would they extend him? I think he's done in New York, unfortunately for him.
Okay. And that's listen, Michael, I hear you, right? But here's my thoughts on this. When you look at what they can do with him, I think that they could extend him. There's a quarterback, his name escapes him right now. He's a young guy that just, I think it was Love, that just got extended recently, right? They gave him a year more on his contract, work some things out. When you look at Zach Wilson, and this is just my opinion, the coaching staff has said through hell or high water, they're going to coach him and get the best out of him. Giving him a fifth-year option, he's under Aaron Rodgers, who literally is his idol, right? When we did those joint practices, remember him and Aaron Rodgers built a great rapport. They talked to each other. If you look at Zach Wilson, he has all the physical skills to make it in the NFL. That's one of the toughest things to find in a quarterback. A quarterback that physically has it together, that's pretty tough to find. But the mental problems, the not being able to recognize things quick enough, not understanding how to check out of things, not having everything that he needs to have down as far as diagnosing a defense, that's his biggest issue. And he seems so skittish, and he lacks so much confidence because of that, it completely destroys his play. And we've seen that, right? He even talked about it during the season.
It does.
He even talked about he had about having no confidence. He talked about it, and the coaching staff talked about it as well, that he lacked confidence during the season. That's why he was getting benched, deactivated, all that stuff, right? Now, with Aaron Rodgers here. Go ahead.
A lot of it's going to come down to how long does Aaron Rodgers play for us, though. Because, the longer the team is competitive, I think the longer Rodgers will play. If we get 3 years out of Rodgers, Zach Wilson's not going to touch the field for 4 years. Now we're having a different conversation. I only think if Aaron Rodgers is a 1-year rental, it's because we win the Super Bowl. If we win the Super Bowl next year and he leaves, retires, fine, we would all celebrate that. But I'd love to have a 3-year run with Aaron Rodgers.
But even 3 years would put Zach Wilson, right? And again, there's things that they can work out. They can do extensions if he's open to staying here. All of those things. I think that was one of the best things that can happen to Zach Wilson. It would allow him to sit down behind a veteran, not just a veteran quarterback, a Hall of Fame quarterback, and learn the game from the bench. Because along with all the things we heard with his confidence, another thing that we heard about from Mike LaFleur before we got rid of him, and even from, I think it was Joe Douglas recently, speaking about how it would have benefited Zach Wilson to sit behind somebody, and that maybe throwing him out there immediately was not the best thing for him. And what's crazy is, again, Mike LaFleur said that first before they got him up out of here. So
yeah, and one of the worst things that could have happened, you and I talked about this last year, one of the worst things that could happen for Zach Wilson is how much success the team was having at the beginning of this year. Because when we lost Brees and AVT in the span of, I think it was 5 or 6 plays, if I'm not mistaken, that team nosedived after that.
Yeah, but again, allowing Zach to sit behind a guy, learn, figure things out, and again, we have a new offensive coordinator as well. So he gets to sit behind Aaron Rodgers, who literally helped build this offense with Nathaniel Hackett, learn the offense from a brand-new offensive coordinator who's going to be able to highlight his skill set, do what he does best. Then he gets to sit behind a guy in Aaron Rodgers that can tell him the ins and outs from being on the field, a player perspective, from his position. Look, this is what you need to be seeing. This is what I see. Do this, do that. Teach him to be a pro. Aaron Rodgers has already talked about that as well, making his life heaven off the field, because he said that Zach Wilson's going to make his life hell on the field, but he's going to make his life heaven off the field. So all these things, I think, do nothing but bode well for Zach Wilson. I think that this is a great situation for him. I'm telling you, Mike, that's honestly what I've gotten destroyed for saying that. People, just like yourself, I do this show on a weekly basis, and people call in and say that we should just cut Zach Wilson. Don't even try to trade him. There's no value. Just cut him. And I'm like, I hear you, but I don't think the coaching staff does that. Look at how high we drafted him. I think they're going to give this kid a chance behind Aaron Rodgers to figure things out and then allow him to come out and do his thing. Go ahead. I'll give you the final word on that.
You know, I agree. We don't cut him, because some desperate team would give up something in drafts going into next year if they realize Rodgers is going to be here for a while. That being said, the best thing that could happen to this team is if they gave him an extension whenever Rodgers retires. If Zach Wilson's really learned that much and we get 4 years beyond Aaron Rodgers with Zach Wilson playing well, it's a big if, but if that happens, that would be the best thing that could happen for this team, because they're not going to give a big contract to a guy going into a 5th-year option and the following year if he's not playing. He would actually be making less than he did on his rookie contract. But all that being said, that's a big if.
No, listen, I hear you. And again, that's just my take on him. I'm not saying he's a world beater. Zach has, he has a bit to go. He's got to figure things out. But I don't think they're necessarily done with him yet. But we'll see. Again, Aaron Rodgers here has just been a great uplift for the New York Jets. But I'll tell you what, there's also a lot of other things that we've done as well in free agency. We've brought in guys like Alan Lazard, right, Nicole Hardman. We've made some moves. Michael, when you look at some of the free agency signings that we've had, what is your favorite free agent signing we've had this current offseason?
So my favorite is the one we kept, keeping Quincy, because we don't have a whole lot of depth behind him and C.J. Mosley. Quan Alexander's still out there. We don't know what's going to happen. So, and to keep Quinnen happy, to bring his brother back, still figuring out when they're going to extend Quinnen, because they would be fools not to. But I'm going to give you something that's technically not a free agent player. It's bringing in Nathaniel Hackett. And the reason
Okay,
being,
talk to me.
Aaron Rodgers doesn't come here, number one, if Nathaniel Hackett's not here. They're such good friends. Lazard may not be coming here if we didn't have Nathaniel Hackett. There's no way Dalvin Cook, and I know you were mentioning this earlier, would even consider coming here without Nathaniel Hackett because there would be no Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
And how many times have we seen Rodgers in Green Bay when Devontae was on the outside covered and Lazard was covered, and he would just have guys standing in the middle of the field wide open, nobody around, and just be able to pick teams apart in that soft zone. That's what Hardman does best.
Yeah.
That's who Hardman is. And you get that off as a fourth receiver. None of this comes together if they don't bring Hackett in here. If they still have LaFleur, none of this happens.
Yeah. No, listen, I'm excited for Nathaniel Hackett as well for all the reasons that you named. You know, of course, us having him really helped us get Aaron Rodgers. He's talked about it. He's the coach that really, you know, Aaron Rodgers is very, very close to. I think he called him his favorite coach of all time out of all the guys that, you know, have been in his corner as far as trying to get him to understand the game and teach him the game and help put things together as far as, you know, from a coaching standpoint. But I'll tell you what, man, I'm excited just about his game plan. And when you look at what he's been able to do, and I always talk about his time with Jacksonville, listen, that quarterback in Jacksonville, Blake Bortles, was awful. And he was able to kind of turn him around. That's, again, what makes me think that he'll be able to get the best out of Zach Wilson. Aaron Rodgers, I'm not even worried about. I know people are, and we'll be talking about that tonight as well. I know people are like, well, Joe, he's got to go out. Listen, it's Aaron Rodgers, bro. I'm not worried about that, okay? He's going to go out there and be Aaron Rodgers. I'm not worried about that.
He was the MVP in 2021 and 2020. And the only reason he was bad last year was because he had a broken thumb on his throwing hand. Anybody who's ever tried to throw a football with a broken thumb on your throwing hand, good luck.
Yeah. So, but again, when we talk about, not only, he's going to get the best out of Aaron Rodgers. They put that offense together with their running now. But when you look at the situation with how he's going to be able to help Zach Wilson, if he can help Blake Bortles have a great season, he can damn sure help Zach Wilson put some things together. But another thing that I love about Nathaniel Hackett as well, the running game he was able to put together in Jacksonville. Everybody knew that Fournette was going to get the ball, and they couldn't do nothing about it. And everywhere he's been, there's been a great running game. When the New York Jets were dominant, when we were going to playoffs and we were just destroying people, we were running the football. If you can run the football effectively in this league, if you can just implement your will on the next man, utilizing the running game, you're going to go far in this league. So that's one of the things that I'm excited about with Nathaniel Hackett as well. That's a good mention right there, Michael. Now, when you look at the situation, I got to ask you, it's going to be my final question for you before I let you go. Dalvin Cook. A lot of rumors about him coming to the New York Jets, rumors swirling, things happening. What are your thoughts about this situation, man? Would you be open to the idea of Dalvin Cook becoming a New York Jet?
Only one way I would be okay with this.
Talk to me.
If they go to Quinnen Williams and say, we're giving you your extension and we want to make this work with Dalvin Cook. Because, and then this is why I say that. If they're going to bring in Dalvin Cook, he's talented, absolutely, which means odds are Bam Knight and very possibly Michael Carter are gone. Okay, I could see that.
Yeah.
But you want to give $10 million to a guy to be your second or third running back because they drafted Izzy, and then you're going to sit there and tell Quinnen we're not going to pay you right now? That makes no sense to me. It just doesn't.
Yeah. Okay. Listen, I hear your take. Again, these rumors are swirling, going to be speaking about that. Oh, you know what? Before I let you go, let me give you, this is my last question for you, actually. The draft. Give me your favorite draft pick from our recent draft. I did a live draft show. Will McDonald was the pick in the first round, and let me tell you something. Most Jets fans that I talked to weren't fans of it, all right? I liked Will McDonald. I thought it was a solid pick. It was surprising. I will tell you that. I did not have the Jets taking him. But especially after Broderick Jones went off the board, there was a lot of moving and shaking, a lot of confusion. How did you feel about the Jets draft quickly, and what was your favorite Jets draft pick of this recent draft?
My favorite pick, because of what we needed, was Tippmann. We needed a center. They signed McGovern for one more year. We were loaded at when we got Kevin Mawai backed right up by Nick Mangold. We had the best centers in the game for 20-plus years. And they all liked Joe Tippmann. Watching the Flight 23 Ascension, the second one, talking about the draft and how much every single person in that room said Tippmann, Tippmann, Tippmann. That was the one we needed the most. The Will McDonald, he wasn't used the same way the Jets want to use him last year at Iowa State. I had no real issue with the pick because pass rushers are a premium. And if you get one, that's gold. And he went to school with Brees. So how is that a bad thing to bring in a rookie who's playing with one of the best players on our team?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Let me tell you something. This recent Jets draft, Joe Tippmann, for me, that was the guy that was key as well. I mean, that's a big boy, man. He gets his hands on you, you're finished. Okay? You're finished.
And he's gonna rock that. He's gonna rock that mullet.
Oh, man.
Him and Feedy rocking that mullet.
Yeah, you know. I'm telling you, he's going to rock a lot of people on the field as well, Michael. Listen, before I let you go, I want you to give me or give my audience just every way that they can get in contact with you folks as well, the address to where you folks meet up. So just in case they're in San Diego, which I hope to be soon, to enjoy a game with you folks and have a lot of fun. Give all the information to the audience, please.
No problem. So we go to a bar. It's called Taste and Thirst. It's in the Gas Lamp downtown, 715 4th Avenue. Our Facebook, SD Jets Fans. Our Instagram, SD Jets Fans. You can find us there. Or San Diego Jets Fans. And we have my co-leader. He is the wizard with social media. So everything that gets updated on our social media, that's Gabe all day. I don't do any of that stuff.
Yeah.
It's not my world. He's a rock star at it, and we love him doing it for us.
Listen, Michael, it's been phenomenal speaking with you. I'm going to thank you for coming on tonight. You have yourself a good night, my friend.
Thanks, Joe. I look forward to it again later.
Absolutely. You have a good one. Listen, what a phenomenal interview with Michael Larson of the San Diego Jets Fan Club. If you're in San Diego, again, get involved with them any way you can. Listen, now it is time to get into it. Again, we got callers, Ted, Val, Monty, I see you. Okay, salutes. We're going to get to everybody. Okay, please be patient. New callers as well. Be patient. We're going to get to everybody quickly. Salutes again to all the savages in the chat. Bree Fanatic salutes. He says, I can't wait to hear your origin story, Joe. I'll share it with you guys again later. All right? NY Jets FL, Jets Turbulence, I see you. I see you. Salutes to everybody, all right? Now it is time to talk because we got a lot going on, and we're going to be discussing it. Dalvin Cook. We're also going to be discussing Jets OTAs as well. We're going to get to the callers very shortly. I just want to quickly go over what's going on here in these rumors surrounding Dalvin Cook, all right? I was just as shocked as everybody else, but this is something that is really burning right now, all right? A lot of people pushing this rumor that Dalvin Cook could possibly become a New York Jet. Now, we all know that Dalvin Cook has been in contract discussions with the Minnesota Vikings, all right? But those contract discussions look like they've kind of broken down. And there's a lot of talk about the Vikings behind the scenes looking to trade him, okay? Now, keep in mind, Dalvin Cook is a very good running back in this league, all right? He's had 1,000 yards. He's had over 1,000 yards, since 2019, all right? I think last year he ran for over 1,100 yards, had 8 touchdowns. This guy's the real deal, okay? He's the business, all right? He's also been to 4 Pro Bowls since 2019. He was in a Pro Bowl last year as well, all right? So this guy really handles business, all right? Now, there was a lot of talk about the Vikings trying to trade him to the Dolphins, that the Dolphins were trying to acquire him and they were trying to figure things out, but there was nothing really shaked out about that deal. Nothing ever came to fruition. And then all of a sudden there's talk about the New York Jets becoming the team that is made a push for him, and that's where he wants to be, all right? There was also talk about the Buffalo Bills being in the running as well for him. The Jets were the stronger team that he wanted to go to. All right, I'm all about it. We got Aaron Rodgers. Of course, he's looking over here and seeing what we're doing. Got a good coach. And he's like, hey, I want to make things happen. All right, the Jets got a solid foundation. They got a great quarterback. They got weapons, all that other stuff. I'm pretty sure if I was him, I want to be a New York Jet as well, right? Time is now, okay? Do what the cool kids are doing, and that's what he wants to do. Now, when you look at the situation, right, the rumor includes that the New York Jets have already made a deal with him, which is a little weird to say, right? Now, apparently, the deal that is on the table that has pretty much already been signed off by Dalvin Cook is a one-year deal for $10 or $11 million, okay? Keep in mind, he's making $14 million with the Vikings in 2023 if they decide to keep him on the roster. As of right now, okay, and I am live, okay, and we're talking Jets here live on a Tuesday night. As of right now, he is still on the Minnesota Vikings roster. So that's what kind of makes this situation for me a little odd, okay, or this rumor a little odd. Because when you talk about a deal kind of already being out there for Dalvin Cook, that would involve you tampering with him. That's against the NFL tampering rules, okay? And if you look at the New York Jets and this office, this staff, they are very careful when it comes to that, okay? I remember a time when there was a lot of talk about Aaron Rodgers becoming a New York Jet, all right? A lot of people were having discussions about him, and I remember he was brought up during a talk with the media that Sulla was having, and Sulla went so far to not even mention his name, okay? He said, listen, they asked him about Aaron Rodgers. He said, whoa, listen, that guy, that player is on another team. I don't really want to discuss that, okay? But he's a good player. That's pretty much what he said. That summed it up. He's pretty much a good player, all right? But I'm not going to discuss that. He already knew what time it was. So to sit back and say that there's a deal already in place when they're so careful publicly, and I'm very sure privately, to stay out of those situations, because you will get smacked if you get caught tampering. We've seen teams in the NFL get smacked before, get things taken away from them, get fines as well. I don't know about that situation. But I tell you what, the New York Jets have over $24 million in cap space. We've restructured contracts from Lawson to Whitehead. JFM got restructured as well. There are other restructures that could be on the way, too. There's talks about Aaron Rodgers also reworking his contract to give the New York Jets money back to continue to build around him. And I've been talking about all of this cap saving, all of these things we're doing. Is this going to lead to some type of big move? I've been talking about it. I talked about D-Hop, right? I'm a big fan of DeAndre Hopkins. Some people didn't like that. Some people loved it, right? I'm wondering, all this cap savings, what are we going to do with all this? Is all of this just going to roll over to Quentin Williams? Or do the Jets have something else in play, something else in plan? Maybe this could be the big move, right? Maybe this could be the big move. I don't know. But then you also look at the New York Jets running back situation. Breece Hall, phenomenal. He was probably going to be the guy if he would have continued his pace for the rest of the year and it never got hurt. He might have been the offensive rookie of the year, right? Of course, we still got the offensive rookie of the year in Garrett Wilson. But even Garrett Wilson himself has said, listen, that boy Breece nice. He said it, that boy Breece is nice, okay? So maybe he would have been the offensive rookie of the year, but he did end up getting hurt, so he's coming back from his ACL. But everything that we're hearing and even seeing, Breece Hall looks phenomenal already. They've talked about not rushing him back. They don't want to do too much. But, man, we saw a video of Breece Hall doing jump cuts and drills. Bro, he looked like the same Breece Hall he was before he got hurt. So when you look at the situation, if you're out and adding Dalvin Cook, if this is true, and we're adding Dalvin Cook to this back trio, oh, boy, you add Cook to this backfield, and it becomes a nightmare for defenses, right? And then if you look at it from a situation where maybe the New York Jets want to continue to work Breece Hall in, not even too much too early, allow Dalvin Cook, if this rumor is true, give the ball to Dalvin Cook early, let him do his thing because he's still a good back in this league, and then maybe later in the year you really feed Breece Hall when you're feeling extremely confident. He's good. He's ready to go. You know that he is fully ready to handle all of the carries that you want him to get. That would be a plan that would be deadly, right? But then you look at the other guys, Michael Carter, who I'm big on. I'm big on Michael Carter. I think he's phenomenal. What happens to him? What happens to his role if Dalvin Cook is the guy that's brought in? This is a guy that has tremendous ability as well. You look back, right, his rookie season, he carried us through some games. All right, you go back and you look at that Bengals game, listen, you give Michael Carter the rock, he can make some things happen, all right? Then you also got Bam Knight on the roster, who's a guy that's definitely shown us some ability. And then we just drafted Izzy, okay, Israel Abanikanda. We just drafted him. This is a guy that's been talked about as being able to come in and give the New York Jets significant contribution in his first year. Where does he go if you bring in Dalvin Cook? Why bring in Dalvin Cook when you have all of these young backs with extreme potential? Why give him $10 or $11 million as well when there's other things you can utilize that money to address on this football team? Those are questions. Those are questions that I have. So I don't know. I don't know about this rumor, but it is titillating. Okay, it is very very interesting. I will say that. Okay, very very interesting to hear about this circulating in the media circles. So we're going to be discussing that tonight. All right, we're going to get to these lines again. 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. We are taking all callers. Okay, please give the stream a thumbs up if you have not already. Subscribe if you have not subscribed. Hit that notification bell so when I post content, you folks will be in the know. All right? I want to thank everybody that does that. Also, if you want to give to the platform, Super Chat is there. Cash App is at the bottom of the screen. Anything you give to the platform is greatly appreciated. All right? Also, when you call in, please make sure your phone lines are good for my new callers. I don't want to – if I can't hear you or you sound like you're in a wind tunnel, I'm going to have to move on, all right? Also, when you call in, do not curse. I do not allow cursing on my platform. I'll get you out of here fast. I'm talking fast, all right? Faster than we got gays out of here. Oh, my God. Could you imagine if Adam Gase was our offensive coordinator? He's flushed. Oh, I'm glad that nightmare is over. Just hearing about Le'Veon Bell speaking about him and running dives. Oh, my God. We're going to get to these lines again, 515-602-9639. We're talking Jets. We're talking Dalvin Cook to the Jets. We're talking Jets OTAs as well. All right, there's a lot of things going on, moving and shaking is there. Aaron Rodgers is out there looking good. Zach Wilson continues to shine. Sulla also said that there's no mini camps. Got some questions about that as well. And Q's deal, Sulla's confident that Q's deal is going to get done. He's confident. He's saying that he's going to be in there before training camp. We'll see what's going on. We're getting to these lines again, 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. Salute to the Savages. First caller that I'm going to is my guy, Ted. I'm coming directly to Ted, Val, Monty, other callers. Hold on. We'll get to you guys in a second. We got to get to Ted. Salute to you, Ted. I want to thank you for calling in. Before we let him talk, though, we got to let everybody know. Ted, he's a savage. Damn, Ted, you are a savage. Salute, Ted. I want to thank you for calling in tonight. It's always great to talk to you. Listen, we're going to start it off with the start off. There's rumors about Dalvin Cook, okay, possibly becoming a Jet. What are your thoughts about this? Is this something that you want to see? Do you believe this rumor? How do you feel about it? Let me know.
Hey, Joe. Good evening. Good evening to everybody in the chat and all your listeners. One step back real quick, Joe. You happened to mention Adam Gase and Le'Veon Bell, and we know where, potentially Adam Gase connection from he signed Le'Veon, because Adam Gase was, definitely possibly on something at some point in his press conferences. I would love to have Dalvin Cook, Joe. I'd love to have him, but at a certain price. And I would certainly ask Aaron Rodgers how he feels about Dalvin Cook, because he's played him twice last year. So he definitely would have a good idea what his level of play, where he's at in his level of play. But, Joe, I'm actually interested, Joe, in Yannick Ngakoue, but I don't know if he'll sign with us. He wants to sign with a contender. We are a contender. We may not be the Chiefs. I would look at him. I would look at Frank Clark. I think we could add two potentially premier pass rushers in this defense. And real quick, Joe, based on the Saleh press conference today, Dwayne Brown's the starting left tackle, and Carl Lawson's going to have double-digit sacks. Yes, sir.
Yeah, we're going to have double-digit sacks. Yeah, we're going to get to that in a second. We're going to get to that in a second, because I
got to get my time in, Joe.
Yeah. I already heard it, but let's just go back to Dalvin Cook just really quickly. I hear what you're saying, right? So you'd be interested in Dalvin Cook coming into the building, being a New York Jets running back. Now, when you look at the situation they're talking about, again, this rumor is spoken about paying Dalvin Cook 1-year deal, $10 or $11 million. Are you willing to give him that type of money?
Depending on the other signings and signing Quinnen, potentially yes, especially knowing that's the kind of piece we could utilize and would maybe need if we make a deep run in the playoffs. We have to have depth in case of injuries.
Okay.
And we certainly have to have fresh players. Yeah, go ahead, Joe.
Yeah. So now when you talk about depth, and it's very interesting, you add him here, that gives us 5 backs. Well, actually 6 when you look at Dye as well. He's currently on the roster, and they said he had a decent day out there as well in OTAs. Dude, who are you getting rid of? Because I can't even see the New York Jets carrying 5 backs, right? Somebody's got to go. Is Michael Carter the guy you're moving on from? Are you getting rid of Bam Knight? Who's gone? Because you just drafted Izzy, right? There's no way you could be talking about getting rid of him. I would think him and Brees are probably the safest guys. So who are you getting rid of? Bam Knight, Michael Carter? Pick one.
I agree 100%. You'd have to pick one of those two probably, and I would probably have to pick Michael Carter based on his injury.
Wow.
I don't know if he was hurt or may have to pick him, and maybe there's some upside in Bam. I don't know. He's shown flashes.
But why Michael Carter, though, Ted? Michael Carter, I mean, outside of Brees Hall, really, Michael Carter is the guy that's shown the most ability, to come out the backfield and catch the football. Right? He's the guy that will pass him down. Woo. Yeah. Give me your thoughts. I understand. Michael Carter, you get rid of him, that puts a big question mark. I mean, look, Dalvin Cook is phenomenal. He is. But again, he's a back. He's a running back. He's been running for a minute. Backs tend to fall off pretty quickly. I'm not saying nothing. I'm just saying I know Dalvin Cook is a great talent. Backs tend to fall off quickly. I'm just playing devil's advocate here. Why get rid of Michael Carter, a guy that has some gamer ability? We've seen it before where he's literally won us games. Why get rid of him?
Well, you said it yourself. Pick one, and it would be a tough choice. So I picked that one. It's honestly a real tough choice on that one. Either one, I guess they would know better based on injury, upside, and things like that. So tough call, though, Joe. Tough call.
Yeah, it is, man. Yep. It is. I'll tell you what. This is interesting. Again, but we've heard this, before. I remember there was rumors about Ezekiel Elliott coming here, and they shut that down. That never happened. So what I know, I think he's still, trying to find a team to go to. I wish him nothing but the best, but that was definitely not something that was happening. Now, as we continue forward, and salutes to all the savages in the chat, Dakota, I see you. There's a lot of things moving and shaking. Jets OTAs rolling her out, right? We're hearing a lot of great things about Aaron Rodgers finding C.J. Uzomah early and often. Zach Wilson looking good out there, right? But we also heard a lot of things from Robert Saleh, okay? And one of those things that he talked about, started speaking about the offensive line. He said that Dwayne Brown would be a hard out at left tackle. I'm guessing that would mean it'd be pretty hard to remove him from that left tackle position. We've heard a lot of love from Saleh to Dwayne Brown this season. Called him basically called him a gamer every chance that he got. Talked about he loved his toughness, all of that stuff. He called him a freaking rock star as well. Give me your thoughts about this. Do you think at this point that Dwayne Brown is cemented as New York Jets left tackle?
I do, 100%. Maybe he's trying to inspire Mekhi a little, maybe a little bit.
Go ahead.
He flat out said, Dwayne Brown's my guy. And if Dwayne Brown's healthy, he could still be a very, very, very good left tackle. So I say you go with him, and he's still hungry. He played through injury. I mean, Mekhi's going to have to work for it, but I don't know if he'll. Being the fact that Dwayne Brown hasn't played right on the right side since college, that's more of a reason to keep him on the left side.
Wow. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean,
Dwayne
hasn't. Yeah, he ain't played right tackle since he ain't played right tackle in the league. So it's very interesting. But that brings me to my next question. We know that Mekhi is not interested at this point in being a left tackle or being a right tackle. Excuse me. He's not interested in that. He's tweeted recently, "I am a left tackle." Okay. He's made it very clear. There was even, reports that came out as well that he said it himself. He talked to the Jets coaching staff when he got that knee injury. He was telling them, hey, look, I'm on the right side. It's going to cause some issues with my knee. Is that still a concern for you? Because, yes, Mekhi looks like, he's in phenomenal shape, but are you worried about Mekhi, if he's going to be our right tackle, moved over to that right side, being upset about it and saying, hey, that could cause issues with my knee? Are you worried about
that? Joe, you're always an injury away. Your career is always an injury away in the NFL. So it's truth. You could be gone for whatever reason. A freak injury, anything.
Man.
Let me say this, Joe. The fact that he's in shape and lost weight, maybe he's got his more flexibility and strength in his, certain areas that he needs to, like his knees and his, joints. Maybe he'll be a little less injury prone. Maybe he's in better shape. He's got to prove it, Joe. He's number 2 or 3 on the depth chart now. He wants to make the leap. Also, Joe, Dwayne Brown's 37. You never know when he's going to get nicked out. So Mekhi's got to really think long and hard about, Dwayne Brown is an injury. He's 37. Is an injury away from, maybe Mekhi coming back to left tackle and showing his stuff. So he's got to be ready. Yeah. It's almost like a veteran, sitting on the bench and waiting for his turn. A veteran quarterback, say, and just saying, hey, I got to be ready. Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I tell you what, especially when you look at the interview that he put out, recently with Glauber. The picture that he painted was, he pretty much blamed them for that knee injury happening the second time, right? And if they're moving him to right tackle again, I don't know, man. Maybe he could start speaking more. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. He
That's possible.
Speaking out more. That's all I'm gonna say. And maybe that could become a distraction. All right, and I'm a little worried about that. But maybe Mekhi takes a different road. Goes, okay, look, you'll put me at right tackle, no problem. I'll just become one of the best right tackles in the league, and then, who knows what the future holds with the New York Jets? Because again, we don't have him signed in his 5th-year option. We declined that. So either you're going to franchise him or let him walk or try to extend him, which I doubt at this point, in my opinion. If I was Mekhi Becton, I would not be coming back here. I'm just saying from my viewpoint, I would not be coming back here. If I went all through all this stuff and then you tried to talk to me about an extension, unless it was just astronomically more than another team was willing to offer me, especially when he talked about what he talked about in that interview, I'll be gone. And then the New York Jets could have big questions at tackle again. All right. So we'll be talking about that for the rest of tonight as well. Now, as we continue to look through, or we continue to go through things that are, happening in OTAs and everything that's happening out there, Sella also spoke on the fact that there's not going to be a mini camps, right? No mandatory mini camps. He talked about not wanting to tax these players. Is that a little bizarre to you? Because when you look at what we're going through here, we're trying to implement a new offense, right? Guys are trying to learn. There's different ticks. Of course, we're running things that are similar concepts to what Mike LaFleur ran, but there's a lot of different things moving and shaking, different pieces as well. I would think you would try to get guys together as much as possible, right? What are your thoughts on the approach that Sella is taking, not having mandatory minicamps?
Joe, we're going from a Pee Wee League quarterback to a Hall of Famer, okay? There's no way that Salah's seen it. He knows the team is ready to go. They're ahead of schedule. There's no, if they were behind, they would be in camp. They're definitely ahead. You have an experienced coordinator who's played with this, who's coached with this quarterback. You have players that have played with this quarterback, and you have young skill players. They're ahead of schedule. They know they have a potential Super Bowl team. They know they have a playoff team. You're going to have to be a little conservative with things, and I think it was smart, Joe. I think it was a smart move. Go ahead, Joe.
Listen, and I hear you. Listen, I hear you, Ted. But at the same time, you have guys on this team that have not played with Aaron Rodgers, especially when you look at our offensive line, right? Look at our offensive line last season. It took a lot, especially starting the season, for them to kind of work themselves into some type of gel where they gelled together a little bit, right? Mm-hmm. There was injuries. There was a lot of things moving and shaking around, right? Well, when you look at the line this year, Mekhi Becton coming back from injury, he ain't played in 2 years. He's trying to get his feet back underneath him in a new offense, right, with a new quarterback. ATV coming back from injury as well, new offense, new quarterback. Our center situation, I don't know if it's going to be Connor McGovern or Joe Tippmann, but even if it's Joe Tippmann, right, he's a rookie. NFL, he's trying to adjust to the speed, new quarterback. He's got to learn the offense. Lakeland Thomason, who's a guy that honestly has to prove himself this year because he's coming off a year where he was not that good. New offense, new quarterback. So when you look at what's going on, Dwayne Brown, he's coming back. Rotator cuff injury, played through it. New offense, new quarterback. They've got to figure out how to gel around what's going on here. And even then, McCole Hardman, guy we just added, Garrett Wilson, learning a new offense as well. A-Rod is his quarterback. It's a new quarterback for him. So there's other things moving and shaking where guys are trying to figure out their way here. Even C.J. Uzomah, who's talked about, he's learning so much as well. And he's a veteran. This guy's a veteran tight end that has done really good things in this league. And he said himself, he's learning new things every single day. So when you look at it from that aspect, it's like, look, I get it. I hear what you're saying. It's a lot of professionals, a lot of guys out there. They know what they're doing. But when you're implementing a new offense in this league, it takes time for that offense to really gel and get its things together. Look at Aaron Rodgers' first year under the offense when he was in Green Bay. They struggled. He talked about it. They openly talked about how it was tough. So I'm a little worried again. I understand it's just mini camps, but that's the time where you take to really get things gelled together. You want to meet as much as possible, especially for the young guys. Guys like Will McDonald, Pittman, Izzy, Carter Warren, all these guys that we've just brought in here. The young guys is what really benefits them because they really have to come in, understand, get up to speed, not just to the speed of the NFL, but the speed of what the scheme is going to ask them to do, whether it be defensively or offensively. That's what it's really meant for them. And so when we're talking about Will McDonald, who's a first-round pick, they're expecting him to do some things. We're talking about Joe Tippmann, who could potentially be our starting center. People already talked about it. I talked about it. You talked about it too. Well, this guy needs as much time as possible out there on the field, getting his hands in the playbook, having guys, analyze him, figure out what's going on out there, getting eyes on him to figure out if he could be the guy. And if you cancel mini camps, what does that do to him? Could that potentially hold those guys back? Give me your thoughts on that, man. I'll give you a final word on it.
Hey, Joe. Two things. One, you got to trust Tyler has the pulse of the team, and obviously, I think he does. I'm gonna have to put all my faith in that. You made a lot of valid points. I get it. Supposedly, a lot of these players have been there since April, so maybe there's a mental fatigue factor. Being grinded it out every day, training and all this other stuff. Also, the Aaron Rodgers, Sauce Gardner marijuana celebration thing that they created, maybe that's down to perfection. So maybe they don't have to. Did you see that, Joe? Did you see that one, Joe?
I heard something about it, but I was like,
oh yeah, they had a nice. Go to the New York Post website. It's Rodgers and Sauce Gardner with their marijuana celebration. So they're that's. If we're good, Joe, if that's all down, if they have time to do that nonsense, then everything's good, Joe. That's the way I look at it.
Okay.
So I think honestly, I think Salah has the pulse of the team down, and so does Rodgers probably. So does Rodgers.
Okay.
So
now before I let
you
go, Ted. Okay. Now before I let you go, Ted, quickly, and other callers are coming to you soon. Come to you next.
Yes, sir.
Salah seems very confident that Quentin Williams' deal is going to be done soon or even before training camp, right? Everything that we've seen, Quentin Williams looks like he's very frustrated. It looks like deals, or at least the discussions, haven't been very close. Are you confident that this is going to get done before camp, or do you feel like Salah's just kind of putting some positivity out there in the air?
It'll get done, Joe. He's not getting – we're not trading Quentin. It'll get done. Somebody will have to bend a little, but it'll take I guess it's going to take longer than I thought, and it's it's going to get done, Joe. Go ahead, Joe. You got a lot of callers, I know.
All right. Thank you for calling in, Ted. Next time I have a show, I want to hear from you, all right?
All right, Joe. Take care, Joe.
All right, you have a go. Peace. We're going to keep getting to these lines. Again, 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. We're taking all callers. Salute to all the savages in the chat. All right. They're going back and forth. Dakota J says, we're so stacked and loaded right now, the Jets are not playing around no more. Old times are well over. Okay. Dakota J, I see you. He's speaking his mind. All right. We're going to keep getting to, the chat. Please continue to post your questions in there if you have questions. Speak your mind. We'll come to the savages. We're going to keep getting to these lines, though. 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. Next caller I'm going to, I believe this is Val, okay? Val, is this you?
Yes, sir.
Val, hold on because you already know what time it is. We got to let everybody know. Val, he's a savage. Val salutes. Listen, I got a lot of things moving and shaking over here. I want to talk to you about OTAs first, though. All right, a lot of things going on around here. Listen, there's no mini camps, okay? Sulla has announced mandatory mini camps. They called it off. What are your thoughts on that, man? Because I'm a guy that thinks, like, these guys should be meeting as much as possible. I understand the Hall of Fame game, August 3rd, I think it's Jets Brown. I get it, okay? But I'm also thinking about how that could affect the rookies. These are guys that need as much time on the field, hands-on, as much as possible. And you get rid of the mini camps. It's like, are you hurting those guys? What are your thoughts on that, man?
Well, salute to you, Joe. Salute to everybody in the chat. And my answer to this is I feel like I would want them to have a mini camp because the thing is, like, I would want them to have the chemistry because the chemistry has to be on point right away. But I also understand the other side of it, that we're going to have 4 preseason games. And on top of that, it's going to be a lot of, stress on, on the players and stuff. You don't want that on the players. You want them to actually get out there and actually, feel fresh. You don't want no type of injuries, like the whole situation with Beckham last year and stuff like that. You don't want no type of serious injuries to go down on the mini camp and stuff. You want everybody to be fresh and ready to go. But for the rookies, we don't have too many rookies to really – I mean, we do have, rookies and stuff like that are position needs and stuff that they need to get those reps in. But I feel like training camp would definitely, get that underwear. But, I would definitely – if it was up to me, I would let them, do the mini camp and stuff. And the players that I feel like that could use the rest, I feel like they should get the rest and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, again, Joe Tippmann is a guy that everybody's talked about as being New York Jets starting center. When we drafted him, I remember
him. He
right
definitely needs the reps.
Yeah.
He needs that connection with Aaron Rodgers.
Go ahead, finish.
Oh, no, I was just saying, yes, he needs that connection with Aaron Rodgers to know exactly what play calling, what shout-outs and stuff like that, because it's going to be loud crowds and stuff like that, and he needs the timing down, so he needs it as much as possible. So, yeah, I like I said, it's like a 50 – it's more – I would lean towards, I would want the mini camp to happen, but I could also understand that we're going to have a lot of games. But the thing is, at the same time, not to be long-winded, we need to get the chemistry down because if you look at the schedule, our schedule is not friendly chemistry. It's not going to be. Talk about it. We're going to have some games that we're going to have some off. Like, all right, if you get it together, listen, the chemistry has to be on point from the beginning of the season because our schedule is heavy at first, and then the second half it gets better and stuff like that. So we're going to get tons of heavy, tough games in the beginning, so that's what I have to say as well too.
Yeah, and even people that are saying our schedule is kind of light at the end, you never know because there's teams that y'all think that every year that we think is trash, and they catch fire, and then all of a sudden late in the season they're competing for something and they're playing way better than a lot of people thought.
Detroit Lions and the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Talk about it, okay? Oh, they're trash, and then they catch fire, and you're like, whoa, wait a minute, they're not trash. Okay, so I hear what everybody's saying. I'm not bashing Robert Sulla. I'm not bashing the Jet staff. I'm just asking questions. All right, especially again when I'm not a big fan of Connor McGovern, the guy that I'm thinking is going to come in here and take his spot, you know, he could benefit from some mini camps. I'm just saying. But as we continue to talk about things that are going on in OTAs, man, Sulla came out and said Dwayne Brown will be a hard out at left tackle. Give me your thoughts on that, Val. Do you believe that Sulla is just trying to motivate Mekhi Becton, keep him on his toes? Or do you think that Dwayne Brown is cemented at that left tackle position? Give me your thoughts.
Listen, Mekhi Becton. All right, 4 years ago, we would have said, listen. Mekhi Becton,
You said, listen,
4 years ago,
listen,
man, this would have never been a question or question at all. Left tackle would have definitely went Mekhi Becton, but Mekhi Becton has to start from the bottom, like we don't know him and stuff like that. This is the new Mekhi Becton that we have to get back to. Yes, I said last time, just give him the position, but the thing is, he has to beat out people. He has to show that he's still that guy, and he has to show that new body that this new tight end body that he has to really show out and stuff like that. So, he definitely has to, work and get that position back. And he's trying to motivate him. And this is all for motivational purposes. So mentally, he has to be stronger physically. And, I heard some things in the interviews and stuff, I understand it, but, you got to put that aside. This is now, you got to get back to work, man. You got to earn your position back. That's for everybody. NFL sometimes can mean not for long. So, you got to get back to it.
Now, well, I hear you, okay? And you make some good points. But here's my question. You said yourself that you saw that interview, or you read it. We all did, by Glauber, that he did with Glauber. And he pretty much blamed the New York Jets for that knee injury. And one of the things that really stuck out from that interview was that he told them, first off, you got me playing a position that I don't play. You got me over here on the right side. And this position that you got me playing is putting more stress on my knee, because that's the leg that I have to, I'm utilizing to back up on. Right. Now, when you look at this situation, if we're saying that Dwayne Brown's a hard out at left tackle, that to me means that Mekhi Becton at this point, if we're reading what Robert Sulla is saying, that it's looking like Mekhi Becton is probably going to be their number one, guy at right tackle, right?
Right tackle, yeah.
If you're Mekhi Becton and you're looking at that, are you concerned that he would take that as a shot to possibly, get his knee re-injured, right? Because that was his big concern the first time. Wouldn't that be a concern for him again if they try to move him over to the right side again this year? I mean, we've even seen him tweet, I am a left tackle. Are you concerned about that? And are you concerned about this possibly becoming a distraction if Mekhi Becton decides to speak out? Because we've already saw that in the interview. Give me your thoughts.
Man, listen, this is another case of, player not listening to.
I'm just saying. Everybody's looking to be crazy. I'm just stating the facts.
No, you're asking the right questions. But, the seat is getting hot, But like I said, man, it's just another case of the play. You got to listen to the players sometimes too when it comes to injury. You want the best, like Robert said, you want the best scenario for that player and stuff like that. And he feels like the left tackle position is better for him and his knee and stuff. It's just like I feel him, man. It's just like I feel like coaches have to listen to players at some times, but. I know other people is like, oh, you're being a diva and everything like that. But listen, if he's going to blame, I can't really blame them and stuff, for the coaches and stuff, because they're trying to look out for the team and stuff. They're feeling, listen, like I said before, AVT, he's not a right tackle, but he played the right tackle and stuff. He didn't complain about it. He's a right guard. He played the right tackle to fill in that position, and he's not even, complaining or anything. Yeah, he played a whole different position. So, that's how they're looking at it. You got to be the leader of the team, and sometimes it's sacrifices. But I wouldn't blame the coaches for his injury and stuff, but I just felt like he wasn't ready. I feel like he wasn't ready as a player to be on the field yet. I feel like they kind of rushed it. I could say they probably rushed it and stuff. But I just feel like, hopefully for the best for him. And I just hope he could just beat out for the left tackle, and I hope it's a fair competition. So, just the best of luck for him, man. I'm
all right, listen to me. I'm a little worried, okay? Because Mekhi Becton is not afraid of being vocal, okay? And he's not afraid of being vocal. I've been a guy, I'm a Kai Becton supporter. Before Sauce and Aaron was on the screen, I think it was Zach and Beck, okay? He was on the screen. I fully support Mekhi Becton. But he came out in that interview and blamed the Jets basically for that knee injury, and he's made it very clear that he wants that left tackle position. He's tweeted it, he's talked about it publicly, and I'm a little worried that it could cause a distraction. I'm not saying that he's going to blow things up. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that he's not afraid to speak his mind, and it could cause a distraction. But maybe, just maybe, he goes, you know what? Okay, fine. I'll play left tackle. I'll play right tackle. No problem. He dominates at right tackle. Good luck retaining him. I'm just saying, good luck retaining him.
Exactly.
Because unless you want to franchise him, which can create more problems, unless you want to franchise him, bruh, I would think he would hightail it out of here as fast as possible. That's just my thought. That's just my thought.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll see what happens going forward. Maybe Mekhi wins that left tackle position. I think
then I would look.
But Sulla.
Then I would look. He'd be with the Buffalo Bills. So yeah.
Yeah. Listen, but the way Sulla talking, and even the way he talked about Dwayne Brown all off season, I don't know, man. He loves that guy. Listen,
he's like 38, right?
Yeah, he's up in his 30s. That's the crazy thing is.
Man.
He's old, man. He's not going to be here forever. And every time I bring this up, I talk to Jets fans about, look, Dwayne Brown, he's a solid guy, but he ain't no spring chicken. That guy ain't going to be here for another 5 years, nothing like that. So it's like,
so
there's big question. Val, let me tell you something. If Dwayne Brown moves on, how much longer can he really play? Let's say he moves on after this season. And then Mekhi Becton plays well at right tackle. Unless you franchise him, which is going to cost you quite a bit of money, unless you franchise him, if he decides to walk away, there's no answer. There's no answer at left tackle. None.
Man. Do you know what this is sounding like?
ATV at left tackle? Huh? Go ahead.
Oh, you know what this is sounding like? Adam Gase and Frank Gore, man.
Oh.
Man, they might be having some Thanksgiving together, man. Oh, man.
Listen, big question. Listen, Val, let me give you this last question, and then I'm going to let you go. Monty, we're going to come to you next. New callers, hold on. All right, let me give you this last question, all right, before I let you go. Dalvin Cook, rumors swirling about him, all right? A lot of talk about 1-year deal to the New York Jets for $10 to $11 million. Give me your thoughts about this rumor, man. Do you think that this is just all poppycock? Or do you think it's that it could happen?
I say, listen, like one of the callers said, let's get that Quentin Williams signing together first before we talk about anything else. But listen, Dalvin Cook and Breece Hall, a 1-2 punch. Man, that's lethal. That is lethal. That is something to watch out for. And also, DeAndre, I wasn't here for the last one. DeAndre Hopkins. Yes, I would definitely want that as well, too. That should happen. If we could make that happen, that would – listen, we're talking about Super Bowl. I believe we're going to the Super Bowl with that for sure. For sure.
Val, do you know how much I've gotten bashed for talking about loving DeAndre Hopkins?
I was like, wow.
You not only
know who DeAndre Hopkins is? I'm like, man, when they was bigging up Odell Beckham, I'm like, DeAndre Hopkins is way better than Odell Beckham when it comes to catching and stuff. This man dealt with mediocre quarterbacks and was
after quarterback.
I was like, bro.
Yeah. Not even mediocre, trash. He had trash. I'm talking trash.
Yes.
And
it made them look like it was like up and coming stars of quarterbacks and stuff. I was making them look average. To put it, not stars, sorry, but average,
Okay. I mean, but, listen, I'm all about discussion, but I tell you what, I have been bashed, okay? People have hit me up, Joe, what the hell are you talking about? DeAndre Hopkins, stop talking. Whoa. Have you seen D-Hop? Okay. I don't know what's going on with y'all, but it is what it is. Listen, Val, I got to slide off, man. All right? I got other calls I got to get to. Next time I have a show, I want to hear from you. You know, I love talking to you about the New York Jets.
Yes, sir, Joe. Everybody hit and subscribe to Joe's channel, man. And thank you for having me, Joe. And have a great day. And everybody, let's go. Let's go, Jets.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. We're going to keep getting to these lines again. 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. All right? I'm taking all calls. I'm telling you, your boy got bashed about that D-Hop. All right? I talked about one of D-Hop and the New York Jets, and some people just try to go crazy on me, you know? I want to have the discussion. I want to have the conversation. I try to have conversations with them. They're like, oh, well, Joe, you make a good point, but then the same people telling me they didn't want D-Hop, they want Cook. We got like 5 running backs. 5 of them. Damn. I mean, Dalvin Cook's good, but damn, 5 running backs? All right? You need 5 running backs. Why can't we have, receivers out the wazoo? Why? We're going to keep getting to these callers again. 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. We're taking our callers. Salute to Dakota J, all these guys in the chat. Dakota J putting down all of the weapons that we have, from Uzama to Conklin to Rucker to Kuntz to Brees Hall, Izzy to Bam. Everybody, man. We got an offense put together. You add D-Hop to that with Garrett Wilson, Lazard, and McCole Hardman. Woo! But we're going to keep getting to these lines again. 515-602-9639. Next, we're going to go to my friend and yours, Monty. Listen, Monty, I want to thank you for calling in, but before we let him get going,
It's been a while, Joe. It's been a while.
Monty the Savage.
Joe. So when I was listening to your last call, bro, I was thinking about, choosing violence on this phone call. You was talking about Mekhi Becton. I was like, you know what, man? Me and you need to have a recap show of all the things that I've said, and all the things that you said, and our battles and our wars that we've had over the previous years. And we just need to have like a recap. You know what I'm saying? Because I remember you were telling me about Mekhi Becton. This guy is this. Oh, man, all pro this. And I try to tell you, like, he's okay. He's all right. And now look at him. 2 years later, look at us now.
Wow.
He's battling for a right tackle position. He's supposed to be a premier left tackle. He can't stay on the field. Even when he does stand, even when we did see him play, he was all right. He had dominant moments, but he was just
Monty.
All right,
Monty.
So I'm just saying, Joe. Look at it. Look at it.
Disingenuous Monty. He was I, Monty. Monty. He was I. Highway 77, but he was I. Damian Woody saying he's one of the best tackles in the league, but he's just I. Oh,
he's all right. He's all right. If you thought he was anything more than it, he would have an option, a 5th-year option. He don't have that. Then
that was before
he would be playing.
That was before the knee injury, Monty. That was before the knee injury.
Okay, that's cool.
Then the 2 years
fine.
off from
that's
the
fine.
knee injury. Go ahead,
That's
Monty.
Fine. But look where they got him now.
I want to have a conversation.
He's not even playing left tackle. He's not even playing left tackle right now. They don't even want him to play left tackle. They'd rather go with an aging 38-year-old Dwayne Brown than go with Mekhi Becton. And that's telling.
Wow.
That's telling. It's telling about how Saleh speaks about him in the press conference. Dwayne Brown over Mekhi Becton. That speaks to his character. It's just so much with the guy. Like I knew it, man. I'm Nostradamus, man. I knew it. Yes, I am. I see things.
Listen.
I see things.
Well, listen.
Joe, we can do a recap show if you want to, man. It's a lot of things. Listen. It's a lot of things that I've been
it's a lot of show,
it's but
not
you
a
know,
lot of things.
That's
we can recap some things, Monty. I remember you were in love with Jamal Adams too, and you want to recap?
Hey, yo,
you were in love with
we not bringing
Adams.
that up. Hey, hold on. Why you gotta bring up old stuff?
We not
Why
bringing
up
that
old
up.
stuff?
We all saw what happened with that boy. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. I ain't heard from you in a minute, but I don't remember. I remember that take. Okay, Flood.
Oh my goodness! Hey! Why you always bringing up old stuff?
I'm bringing up old stuff. Okay, listen. I hear what you're saying about Mekhi Becton. Okay, now the door's not completely closed. I will say that. All right. Yes, he did say it was a hard out for Dwayne Brown to be, from that left tackle position. But let's keep it real, too. Maybe this is just a little gamesmanship from Sulla to continue to motivate Mekhi Becton. Right? We've seen it in the past. We saw it when Mekhi Becton tweeted, "I am a left tackle." Sulla came out and said, well, if you want it, earn it. Go get that left tackle. And he kind of said it with a little bit of a smirk. So maybe that's what we're seeing. Also, you got to keep in mind that Dwayne Brown never played right tackle. And there was some talk that, he's not a fan of it, okay? So I could see that playing into the situation as well. Again, it's not done yet, okay? They have training camp coming up, all this stuff, and we'll see what happens going forward. But I will ask you this. When you look at the situation, let's say that Dwayne Brown is the guy that's going to be the starting left tackle. You move Mekhi. Mekhi's got to be the guy that you're looking at moving to right, logically. He'll probably be looked at as right tackle. Would that make you concerned that would become a distraction? Because he just did an interview with Glover where he literally blamed the New York Jets for the knee injury, said that they had him play in a position that he does not play, talked about how much that position put a strain on the knee. If you're Mekhi Becton and they're moving you back over to right tackle, from everything that you said, I would think you would look at that as an attack to possibly hurt the knee again. So, of course, you'd be upset. Are you concerned about it becoming a distraction if they decide truly, if it's finalized, that they want him to play right tackle again? Give me your thoughts.
Yeah, it's a big distraction because Mekhi Becton, I mean, granted, I don't know the guy personally. I can only go by, what is going on in the media. But he seems like a guy who just doesn't take any type of accountability, right? So what if next year he's playing right tackle and he is struggling? Mekhi Becton seems like the type of person to just be like, oh, yeah, man, I shouldn't be playing right tackle. I'm not. This is not a natural position for me. He just seems like a guy that just doesn't. He's not very accountable. And that interview was very, very telling, where he blamed the Jets organization on him getting injured because they placed him at right tackle. Not the fact that he came in damn near 400 pounds, put him out there and put him at right tackle with a bad knee. Dude, listen, this is football. Even if they put you at left tackle, it's a physical sport. You can't blame playing a different position and planting off your right foot being the reason why you got injured. You can't do that. It's football. It's physical. Anything can happen in the sport. So him coming out and explaining everything in that interview just lets me know what type of character he has. The way the Solid talks about Dwayne Brown and talks about, he doesn't even acknowledge Mekhi in the press conference if you pay attention. He just kind of laughs and smirks because Robert Saleh has not even seen Mekhi Becton on the field in the 2 years. So he's just going off basically what he's seen of him in practice, around the building, around the organization. He doesn't really speak too highly of him. So am I concerned about it being Mekhi Becton being a distraction? Absolutely. He's already proven that he doesn't bite his tongue. He's already proven that, he's willing to go to a reporter and leak information to different reporters. It's just a mess with the guy, man. And the Jets are in a situation where they're kind of stuck, man. Because what if he plays well? It's a good position to be in. But do you want to give big money to a guy who has in a contract year? He struggled with his weight. He's shown that he wants to do what he wants to do. And if he plays well, even if he does play, or if he plays horrible next year, it's like we wasted, a 13th pick, So we're kind of in a lose-lose situation when it comes with Mekhi Becton, man, and it's definitely sad. I know I kind of talk about him, but it's just a bad situation to be in.
Listen, and I hear you, Monty, and this is the beauty of the show. This is why I love having discussions with you as well. We don't always agree on things, right? I wouldn't necessarily say that Mekhi Becton doesn't take accountability, because I think he has, right? I think he worked his tail off to get back in shape. He also talked in that interview with Glauber about the coaching that he's received. He's got a new trainer. They've helped him, get himself back together, not just physically, but mentally. Mentally, I think there was I mean, football, Monty. I think a lot of people don't think, a lot of fans don't think about injuries take a toll on you, right? They take a toll on you. A lot of people sprain their ankles, and it takes a toll on them. Imagine literally blowing up your knee and what kind of mental toll that would take on you as a football player. You're up, you're active every day, you working out, you running, you getting ready, you doing you getting in your stance, you're practicing your kick step, all that stuff. You can't do that stuff with a jacked up knee like that. Then you start to wonder, right? But, and again, I'm not speaking for Mekhi Becton. I'm just saying if I was in his position, I would start to think about, like, man, am I ever going to walk the same again? Let alone am I ever going to play the same again, right? A lot of these players,
right.
And as well, like, part of their identity is tied to them playing football. You can't just roll out of the bed and become as good as he's been. You can't just roll out of bed and go into the NFL. Even the people that we think are bums in the NFL, those guys work their butts off. They do. They do. They work a lot harder than people think. You know what I'm saying? So, that's all I'm saying. All right. And again, yes, I'm a Mekhi Becton fan. I will fully disclose that. I've said that 1,000 times. He's on my screen. Okay. And I think he's going to get it done. I don't know what's going to happen. Sulla is showing a lot of love to Dwayne Brown. But we'll
that's telling. That's very, very telling. That's very, very telling. You have to look at certain things like that. Little things like that will tell you about a man's character, and it'll tell you about where they stand in the organization and how they truly feel. Like Robert Saleh, he doesn't seem like the type of guy that's a blatant liar, but he's not. He's gonna drop certain things to kind of give you a hint of what he thinks without actually saying it,
Okay.
So,
well, I'll tell you what. Well, listen. When Mims didn't know the playbook, they came out blatantly and said it. Okay. Maybe I'm looking at it like with the glass half full, but I'm thinking that they're saying a lot of things and doing a lot of things to simply motivate Mekhi Becton. Do I think that Dwayne Brown has the faith of the coaching staff? Yeah, but I don't think they think that Mekhi Becton is a bad tackle either. I think there will be actual competition. Yeah, and we'll see what happens. I don't think Mekhi Becton's out the door yet. But one of the things that you said, and I want to get to this because this was a very interesting tidbit that you just said a second ago. You talked about how the position that it puts the Jets in, right? Dwayne Brown, spring chicken, he's not going to be here forever, right? Then you look at the situation with Mekhi, and you talked about how, hey, if he plays well, you decline the fifth-year option. That puts you in a pickle, right? What are you going to franchise him? That could create a bigger problem. If you try to give him an extension, if Mekhi Becton plays like one of the top right tackles in the league, which he has the ability to do that, then, boy, get ready for the numbers. Doesn't that put that squarely in the lap of Joe Douglas? Because they could have got a tackle in this recent draft earlier than they did with Warren. They could have got a tackle. They could have traded down and grabbed somebody. They didn't. And if you actually look at his board, right, and it's crazy. I don't know if you watched Flight 23, but they had something on Flight 23 as well where, so you watch that part where they asked him, hey, what is your ranking? What are your guys? And he talked about McDonald being one, Mayer, I believe, the tight end, of, I think he was from Notre Dame, the tight end from Notre Dame was number 2, and Broderick Jones was number 3.
Yeah.
So when you look at this situation that they're in right now with tackle, with, you know, the potential of Mekhi Becton, he could be gone, and Dwayne Brown could be gone eventually as well. Again, could be gone soon too, because again, he's no spring chicken. Doesn't that place that square in the lap of Joe Douglas for not ensuring that he would have some guy able to be here in case all of this kind of falls apart?
Yeah, but you also have to build your roster out. You know, you can't just say, hey, I need a left tackle and go get a left tackle. You have to look at where you are on the board, what players are left. Do you think they actually fit your scheme? It's a number of different factors in choosing a player. And I don't, you know, I can't, you know, I give, you know, Joe Douglas a lot of grief, but, you know, I feel like that was the smart move to not reach for a player, but just go grab a player in which makes your team better right now, you know, and maybe in the future.
Okay, and I hear that. But if you look at what the New York Jets went into this, because I really want to have this discussion with you. When you look at what the New York Jets went into this draft, the concerns on the roster that we had, offensive line, mainly tackle, was the biggest issue, especially with Aaron Rodgers here. We were like, bro, we do not want Aaron Rodgers going through what we saw Zach Wilson go through, what we saw Sam Darnold go through. This guy is older. Yeah, he's still spry. He can move, but that's not what we want Aaron Rodgers doing. We want Aaron Rodgers to kick back and be the Hall of Famer, throw these bombs. We don't want him to take shots. We saw him take shots in Green Bay, and we saw him get hurt before in Green Bay when he was getting smacked around. So the biggest concern was tackle. And so if the biggest concern in your line is tackle and you go into the draft, why not draft a tackle earlier? Again, Broderick Jones was there, right? Or Broderick Jones wasn't there. He got taken off the board when the Patriots moved, but there was a lot of Jets fans that bashed him for not trading up for Broderick Jones. Okay. Right? I'm not saying that. I'm not saying I'm not bashing him. Broderick Jones was off the board, but there were other tackles. Dwad Jones was there a little bit later. There were other guys that we could have grabbed. Cody Mouch was there as well. We didn't take him either. So when you look at the situation, it's like you got to have something in place, especially when you look at the fallout that can happen if you don't grab somebody. Because, again, let's say Becton's gone out the door, right? Dwayne Brown retires. Who the hell is going to be our left tackle? That could literally happen next year.
It could. And that's when you.
I'm just asking. I'm asking these questions. Go ahead.
Yeah. And those, I feel like those are fair questions because going into the draft, I thought that we can. I thought Paris Johnson was going to fall a little bit further than what he fell. But Broderick Jones,
God, Monty.
I know. It was stupid.
Monty, don't get me started, bro. That hurt. That hurt. That hurt a lot.
Yeah. It was stupid to think that he was gonna fall that far. But it was just a run. It was just a huge run on tackles. And in my opinion, I did not want Broderick Jones. I felt like he was a project, and I wanted somebody who could step right in and know, like, oh yeah, this dude can hold down this position. I don't think Broderick Jones was that type of tackle. I think physically, he's a big guy. He's mobile, but I don't know. It's just something. I just had a gut feeling. I'm like, I don't think this dude is going to be that good. But I don't know. To be honest, I felt like we should have grabbed a tackle, but I don't want to reach for a tackle. If a guy was there and we thought that he was going to be a good player, granted, go ahead, pull the trigger. But you get and this is what I like about Joe. He's very, very patient. You have to get the player in which you think can fit your scheme and not reach for another guy just because, we have a need at this position. The Jets, we can load up talent. We can load up talent at any position. So, granted, if we get through the season, Mekhi Becton is a free agent, and Dwayne Brown is if he retires, hey man, it's just something that you have to live with, and you have to be able to address it next season. I mean, you still got Max Mitchell at right tackle, and if you need to go next year, trade for a left tackle or, draft another one. You still have the option to be able to do that. I think that you're in the position, the Jets are in the position where you are all in right now. You're not afford to be in the position to be able to develop guys. You have to have guys who are going to come in and contribute. Now, if you felt like there was a guy in the draft in which he can come in, help right now, start at left tackle right now, or start at right tackle right now, you do it. But I think Joe looked at the draft board, he looked at the players on the draft board, and he said to himself, none of these guys will be able to help us this year. And if if a guy can't beat out Mekhi Becton, if you feel like he can't beat out a Dwayne Brown, you don't draft him, because you're looking Aaron Rodgers. When you trade for Aaron Rodgers, you're on the clock. You go year by year. You can't afford to sit back and not have these a guy sitting on the bench just in case breaking in case of emergency type of deal. You got to have a guy who is going to be a game changer on the offensive line. And
yep.
They didn't feel like there was anybody in there besides Tippner.
And I hear you, but at the same time with that, and I understand your take, but at the same time you got to think about the future as well. He may not be able to, come out and just dominate and destroy people the first year, right? But what about next year? We've seen guys sit on the bench, learn, and then come out the next year and ball out. Now what you're doing is you're going to go into next year. Let's say let's say Mekhi Becton plays out of this world. You're going to have to franchise him if you want to. That's $18 million. You could have gave him a lot less than that if you just would have gave him a fifth-year option. Just give him a fifth-year option. See what happens, right? But you've declined that. So now, if you don't want to franchise him, if you don't do that, there's the numbers that you're going to have to give him, a good right tackle that has the potential of being a good left tackle, man, the numbers are going to be astronomical, okay? So if he wants,
left tackle was worth it though, Joe. You seen the guy that the Jacksonville Jaguars drafted. Man, Will McDonald was eating his lunch in the highlights that I've seen. He was making him look silly.
But you listen. But Will McDonald is not a bum. I know a lot of people thought he was a bum just because they didn't know him. But Will McDonald is actually a really good, such a good player, and I get that. But there's guys that you can help and develop. My question is, you go into next year, you don't have an answer at left tackle. And I hear you talking about Max Mitchell. Great. But Max Mitchell was coming off of a knee injury too, and he had blood clots. He ended the season last year on IR. You still got big questions. You still got big questions if he can even be healthy for a full season. He only showed you a couple of games.
So let me ask you this, Joe. Let me ask you this, Joe.
Big questions. Go ahead.
Our starting five, as far as offensive line, right? Mm-hmm. Are you comfortable with it this year? If it plays out, are you comfortable with it?
Who's starting at left tackle? Dwayne Brown or Becton?
Dwayne Brown.
Okay, so you're talking Dwayne Brown, Tomlinson. Who's the center? Mm-hmm. Are you asking for my picks at starting offensive line, or are you naming the picks for me? Who's the center?
I'm just saying.
Pittman,
do you feel like the guys that we have in the building now on the offensive line, do you think it's adequate moving in for this year coming up?
I think
I feel like that's how he assessed the draft. He said, hey, if we can get a guy who can upgrade us at the position at left tackle or right tackle, cool, I'll grab him. But you know what, Joe? Nobody was there. So, he's not going to reach and take a guy just to take him. We're looking for next year. We have a left tackle. We're going to need a left tackle for next year. No, he's not looking at it like that. Can this guy help our team right now? Is there a guy who can beat out Mekhi Becton in this draft? And he felt like none of those guys were good enough. Okay. And if you're a GM, if you're the GM of the team, and you feel that way, and you're a fan of the team, okay, Joe, I trust you that your assessment is good, and you feel like none of those tackles were good. Cool, I'm cool with it. As long as you get a guy who can contribute this year and make plays this year, then I'm fine with it. I'm not worried about 2 years from now. Because to be honest, if you're looking at it that way, shoot, we should have drafted a quarterback then. if you're looking at it that way, because we don't know what Aaron Rodgers is going to do from year to year. So you might as well go and draft a quarterback, right?
Here's the thing is, I think Aaron Rodgers is going to play here at least 2 years, right? At least 2 years. Now, even though we think that the offensive line, and I think the offensive line is decent, there's still questions, though. There's questions if Dwayne Brown can stay healthy. You just talked about Mekhi Becton. He ain't played in 2 years. So those questions at tackle would lead you to believe, like, hey, we got to have some type of young blood here, right, just in case. Some type of young blood, especially going forward. That's just my thoughts on it, all right? Especially when we're talking about, again, Fella and all I'm totally about, it's looking like, again, if you listen to Fella, it's seeming like they love Dwayne Brown. And that Mekhi, you know, they're looking at Mekhi probably being on that right side again. And if that's the truth, bro.
Because he's built to that stuff, Joe. That's why. Dwayne Brown is built to that stuff. That stuff where he could have packed it in and took his $10 million and he could have went home. But you know what? He didn't. He stuck with it. He didn't complain. He didn't even have the season that he normally has, but he hung in there and he went through the BS. And, you know, coaches like that type
He better
of
be
stuff,
better
man.
this year.
He didn't complain one bit.
He better be better.
He didn't complain one bit.
He better be better. He better. They can talk about all that stuff. He better be better this year than he was last year, because I understand
Dude only
he played
had
for
one
that
shoulder, man.
Bro, there was games last year where whoa, where whoa. You know what I'm saying? And I understand people are, you know, kudos to his toughness and all that, but that was stuff last year was like whoa. And I'm telling you, we're gonna get tested. We're gonna get tested. But I think a big thing as well.
He played well too.
And I think a big thing as well, too, is with Aaron Rodgers at a quarterback, I think he's going to be getting the ball out of his hands very quick. So that's going to put a lot less stress on the offensive line. So as we continue on, right, we talked about a lot of different things, OTA, stuff like that, right? Listen here. There's not going to be a mini camp, okay? According to Sulla, nothing. They're not going to do that, all right? They talked about, you know, training camp coming up. They're going to – I don't know if they've talked about the dates. But no mini camps. He doesn't want to tax the players, all right? But when I look at it, it's like, hey, no mini camps. You're implementing a new offense. Well, not a new offense. It's the same offense, but new offensive coordinator, different concepts, different ticks in the way that he does things. So it's kind of, you know, it's a new thing for them, right? You're trying to implement that. You got new players here. Guys are trying to figure out their way. You got rookies here as well, Tittman being one of them, who we expect to take a significant spot here on this offense. A lot of people already have him pegged as the starting center. What are your thoughts about there being no mini camp? Well, all of these moves we got moving and shaking offensively. Are you concerned that it can hurt these young players?
Oh, my goodness.
Ooh, it's a terrible idea. Talk about it, Monty.
It's a terrible idea because if you're not going to have a physical mini camp, at least you can have a mental mini camp, meaning that guys can kind of get in that routine of going through practice habits and just walkthroughs and understanding how to play the game of football and have a better relationship with your coaches, understanding your players. The mini camp is more than just, you know, physicality and competing. It's more than that. It's building camaraderie. So when you go to training camp, you hit the ground and you're running.
Yep.
I think it's a bad idea. I don't think Saleh is that good of a coach to be able to, you know, say, hey, we're not doing any type of mini camp, especially when you're coaching for your job. Like, that is just a horrible, horrible, horrible idea. I don't care how physical the practice were in those OTAs. Man, you got to get guys in the building. And then also you got to think about this, man. There's a big dead period that's in football, you know. And when you have guys going to mini camp, it's forcing them to be in shape, be engaged. You know, when they don't have those mini camps, you're just allowing them to just find trouble, get lazy, things like that. You want to kind of keep them focused, you know, players focused, because it's so easy just to say, hey, I worked out this summer, I'm just resting my body, getting ready for training camp. Because you know why? Because the coaches said so. You know, coaches wanted me to get rest and stuff. Nah, you know, you don't have to have practice, physical practices. Just get those guys in there, learn the playbook, learn each other, learn the game of football, preach what you want them to learn, and just, I don't know, it's just a bad idea, man, in my opinion. And it could, you know, backfire in the long run, because those those first couple of weeks in the regular season aren't looking too easy. So you want to have people, you want to have players mentally engaged and everything, man.
Listen,
I don't know.
I keep telling people it ain't gonna be sweet. Okay, listen. We got Aaron Rodgers. I love it, but listen, these teams this year, everybody, the eyes are on the Jets for sure. Right? We got 6 primetime games. It could be 7. I think they can flex out one of the games we have later on in the season as well. It could be 7 primetime games. We're gonna be on the top of the list. Remember all the days, Monty, where they was like, we were like, we never see the Jets on ESPN. They never play our highlights. We never hear about. We gonna hear about Jets all day and all night on every big sports network. We're going to be talking about. And there's a lot of people looking for the New York Jets to fail. And not only that, guess what? There's a lot of teams that are circling us on their schedule now. Not because, they're bad. It's because these are the dudes that's coming in that are good. And they're going to get – all these teams that we think are trash, they're going to give us their best shot week in and week out. Because the Jets are coming.
And, Joe, can I ask you a question real quick?
And my mama's going to be watching. Go ahead. Give me your thoughts.
Right. Now, if we didn't have Aaron Rodgers, do you feel like he would be doing this right now?
Who would be doing this? Saleh?
Do you think he would cancel minicamp? If
no,
we did not have
because Zach Wilson needs all the work that he can get.
Exactly.
If Zach Wilson was our starter, we need all the work we can get. I would think that he would.
So my thing is he, and this is just the way that I picture it. I could be wrong, but I'm looking at it like this. He feels that we don't have to have minicamp because we have Aaron Rodgers. So that lets me know that he is not going to prepare the way in which he needs to prepare because he feels that I'm going to war with Aaron Rodgers each and every week. So not saying like he doesn't have to coach or prepare as much. He's relying on Aaron Rodgers to get him out of a lot of stuff, get the players out of a lot of stuff. And I don't think that's fair to Aaron Rodgers because, I feel like even though he can, I don't think you're supposed to put that kind of pressure on the players. And as a coach, you're supposed to coach as much as possible. And I feel that since he's canceling minicamp, that's what he's doing. He's putting all the pressure on Aaron Rodgers to get us out of all the bad stuff that we go through, and he doesn't have to do and prepare as much because he knows I have Aaron Rodgers. I could be wrong, but that's the way that I'm looking at it, and I don't think it's right for Aaron Rodgers. I don't think it's right for the team. And even the press conference that he had a couple weeks ago, where he said it's only a couple teams that can win the Super Bowl each and every year, and every coach in the 32 says that we have a chance to win, but it's only 6 teams that actually have a chance, and I feel that we are that team. Oh, okay, Robert. But now you're talking a lot because you feel like Aaron Rodgers is just that dude. And I get it. Aaron Rodgers is an amazing quarterback, but that still does not take away from the fact that you have to do your job, players ready to be able to hit the ground and run. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. I just don't like what's going on with our coach right now. I think he's kind of fanboying a little bit with Aaron Rodgers, and I honestly I don't like it because I could tell you one thing. We were good on defense last year, hands down. We were good on defense, but this year we're playing Patrick Mahomes. We're playing Justin Herbert. We're not playing Brett Rippon or any of those guys. So our defense has to play at a higher level. The status quo, the level in which we played with last year is not going to cut it. Because I watched guys like Trevor Lawrence come in and shred us up. I watched guys like Joe Burrow come in and shred us up. And we think that we can just go out there and golf. We think that we can just go out there and just just play the way that we played last year, it's not going to cut it, man. It's not going to cut it.
Yeah.
And if they watch that film and they think that going against Justin Herbert and Patrick Mahomes and all these good quarterbacks that we have, Jalen Hurts, if he feels that's enough, if he feels that that's enough, then he's sadly mistaken, man. The Jets got to step their game up on defense a lot. If we plan on winning the Super Bowl, if we plan on competing, we got to step it up. We got to step it up a lot because we got built out a lot with the schedule last year, and we definitely got to take it up a notch.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to be playing the top teams, especially if we want to get to where we need to go. But I think a lot of it. Look, I'm not in love with the idea of not having a mini camp, especially because the young guys need it, especially guys like Pittman, especially and not just the young guys, but just the guys that got here, Nicole Hardman. These are guys. Even Garrett Wilson could use this. You going in there, you got a new quarterback, you got Aaron Rodgers, and I understand the guys do the works behind the scenes. They're probably going to be in the facility anyway, just working. They're going to put things together. I'm very sure of it, right? That we're just not going to know about. This happens all the time in the NFL. Guys sit at, have study meetings and all kinds of stuff. But, man, these young guys need to work. And I'm just wondering, how this is going to hurt. But you got
all the work that they can get, even if it's not physical, mental.
No,
the game of football is mental.
It's mental.
And if you can learn as much as possible, you're going to play faster.
Yeah,
that's how it works.
There's a lot of really slow-thinking, athletic freaks, and they look crazy on the field. And there's a lot of guys that think faster than they move.
They got a bunch of slow guys on defense, but you know what? They're mentally prepared so they can play faster. Just got to be on that level, man. And I'm afraid. Yes. I'm afraid, man. Saleh is not going to get them playing at that level, man. Because remember, we said last year, man, when Mike LaFleur was here, this team is good. The team that we have is good, but it's up to the coaching staff to be able to put us in the proper position. And now it's on Saleh now. It's on Saleh to get these guys prepared. And him skipping out on this mini camp is not a good look. It's not saying that we want to win the championship. It's cutting corners. It's not. You're not preparing for the grind at all. So. Man,
listen, Monty, I got a few minutes left, because they be hating on me. Blog Talk be trying to shut your boy down. But quickly, I want you to give me your thoughts. I want you to give me your thoughts on Quinnen Williams. There's a lot of talk. Saleh today talked about them being confident that the deal is going to be done before training camp, and he's going to be back into, the Jets facility doing what he does and being the same guy he was before the contract situation started up. Quickly, give me your thoughts about things that have gone on with him. And do you think that the contract will be done, or do you think that Saleh's just being confident and putting positivity out there? Quickly.
I think the contract will get done. I think Quinnen wants to be here. I think the Jets organization wants him here. I think it's just kind of like minor things, probably like an extra year or something like that, that they're probably haggling over, and they haven't put a real emphasis on getting the contract done, because they were dealing with so many things with Aaron Rodgers, restructuring. They were going to try to find the money to be able to pay Quinnen. But if I'm being honest, I think it's going to get done. It's not a problem. And if it doesn't get done, if Quinnen, I don't know. I don't know what the terms of the contract is, but I mean, me personally, even given, I understand how important Quinnen is to this defense. But to be honest, you want me to be 100% honest, giving the defensive tackle $25 million and he only played 60% of the snaps is something like absurd. But unfortunately, we're in a position where we need him. He's really good at what he does, and we can't really do anything. We can't really do anything about it, because if we don't have him, we saw what the defense is without him. So we need him. So I feel like they'll get it done.
Yeah. Another one, quickly, before I let you go. Dalvin Cook, there's rumors of him to the Jets, yes or no? Are you with it or are you not with it?
I'm with it. I'm with it because you don't know what Breece Hall is going to be next year. Man, running backs take a long time to kind of come back and become themselves from, ACL injuries. You don't want to put him in a position where he feels like he has to rush back. Or, even if, let's say, even if he does come back and he's just not feeling himself, you don't want him to be hear the boos. You don't want him to feel that like he's letting the fans down. No, you got to bring a guy in here who has experience, is dynamic. He can relieve the pressure off Breece Hall to where he feel like he doesn't have to do as much. And he's, Dalvin Cook is just a amazing player. He's only going to make your team better. And $10 million, man, dude, that's nothing for a running back, And Dalvin Cook in a Breece Hall tandem. Oh my God, what?
Okay. Ooh, listen, man, Monty,
hold your breath every single time.
I'm telling you. All right, I hear you. Good takes. Listen, it's always great to speak to you, Monty. I got to slide off, but I want everybody to remember that Monty was the guy that said that Jamal Adams wanted to be a Jet and was going to stay here.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
I'm just saying, I remember that. Salute to you, Monty. Again, I want to thank you for calling in. Next time I have a show, I want to hear from you. I haven't talked to you in a minute, my friend. It's always good to talk to you.
Yeah. For sure, man.
Yeah.
I've been busy lately, man, with the kid. I told you last time I talked to you, man, I had a little girl, man. So
and
got the 3 girls, man.
Congratulations
me
on
busy.
your child as well. Yeah, congratulations on the child. I hope it's healthy,
Take it
happy,
easy, man.
Enjoy yourself, man. All right, you have a good one. Monty loved Jamal Adams. I just want to remind y'all of that, all right? We got to shut the show down. This is a hot show. Blog Talk's about to start hating. All right, I'm getting short on time. It's a 2-hour show, okay? Filled with fire, all right? Listen, I am the man of the people. I'm here for the people. Let me shamelessly promote my Facebook page. Everyone go on Facebook, search The Long Beach Joe Show. Like that page. My content's up there. Go ahead and give it a listen. Message me. I'll message you right back. I love going back and forth with you folks about this football team. Also, leave me some feedback. I love hearing about what you folks think I do here on The Long Beach Joe Show. I'm also, on Twitter as well. Go ahead and follow me on Twitter at The Long Beach Joe, at The Long Beach Joe. Okay, personal page at YoungJ000. Okay, go ahead and follow me. I'll follow you right back. You want to troll me? No issues. I'm the troll that lives under the bridge, and I will have my Vera Tucker jersey on at all times. At all times, man. All right, he's back, baby. He's going to dominate fools this year. That's all I'm saying. If you want good offensive linemen, just go to SC. He can play every darn position across the line, pretty much, right? Except for center. He didn't play center. But come on, we all know he can play center. She's serious. That's what we do at SC. We produce winners. Fight on, all right? Also, you can catch my content on YouTube as well. Go on over to YouTube. Type in Long Beach Joe Jets. Long Beach Joe Jets on YouTube. Subscribe. Hit that notification bell so when I post content, you folks will be in the know. Also, give the video a thumbs up. And if you want to troll me, get in those comments. I'll go back and forth with you. And as always, people, when you see me in person, because you will see me in person, it is arms out, chest open, free hugs for everyone. Free hugs for everyone. The hugs will cost you absolutely nothing. I want to thank you folks for taking the time out of the day to interact with your boy any way that you can, watching, talking. Salutes to all the savages in the chat, everybody going back and forth. I want to thank y'all. Without you folks, I'm absolutely nothing. Thank you for taking the time out of the day to do all that. I also want to thank Michael Larson from the San Diego Jets fan club for coming on and spreading all the news about what they do down there and how much fun they have. If you're in San Diego, get involved with those folks. You folks have a good one. Peace.